So what are your thoughts in their new statement?
I don't have any thoughts in the new statement. Looking through it, I don't have any thoughts regarding to that. I understand. There's whatever date I put. I understand that. I think their legal opinion is they can't deliberate until the office is vacated. I've always said, because we've had a lot of these discussions behind closed doors, I've always said you can have a process in place. You don't have to deliberate, but you can certainly have a process in place to be able to deliberate once the position is vacated. And I think that's what they've waited. They've waited to have Commissioner Strasser in place so they could talk about that process, which I understand.
And are you pleased with Captain Sickle taking the place in the meantime?
Yeah, I have no issue with that. That is part of the policy. I think it's a good idea to have one of our internal captains move forward. So yeah, I have no issues with that as well.
Okay, and what do you think about them releasing the investigation reports of your harassment claims?
Well, it's interesting because the investigation was never completed. And if you go through my withdrawal letter very intently, there's some things in there that were said specifically when that was written on my behalf. One, they were never supposed to release an incomplete report. And if you really look into it, and I talked to the investigator countless times about this, is they drafted this report with never talking to stakeholders or anybody in the sheriff's office who were part of this. And I don't know how you do and if you look at my withdrawal letter, it also calls this a review. This was never an investigation, which they're calling it. This was and even if you look at what the preliminary draft is titled, it is, they don't show the title page, but this is actually, I have the title page. This is a draft discussion. So it's just another way of the county's being really misleading. Is they've and I was specifically told that they would not release this report unless it was ever completed, because I said, how can you have any type of finding when you haven't spoken to anybody within our organization or any stakeholders part of this? So it's very biased and one-sided. And I think that clearly shows that. I think it was a huge mistake for them to release this. So I think as you're looking through this, pay very close attention to what the withdrawal letter says. The withdrawal letter never refers to this as an investigation. And you'll see that clearly in the withdrawal letter. The withdrawal letter clearly says that conclusions can't be found until this is completed. So for them to release this one-sided bias report after clearly saying, I think it's problematic. The other interesting thing is when there was a couple conflict of interests that went into this that will probably come up now that they've released it. One is when the person came to deliver this draft report, they were specifically picked up at the airport, in my understanding from the county administrator, and they actually went to dinner that night. So
got the star treatment.
So I would certainly, my questions to the commissioners are, why would you release this when the withdrawal letter says that you can't draw any conclusions until the report is finalized, and why would you release any information without completing an investigation? It's extremely biased.
Yeah, we were wondering that because when you print it out, it actually says draft on it, so we know it's not finalized.
Yes, it is. I can't. I mean, I'm just sitting here kind of laughing to myself as to why they would release that draft, because I went back and forth with the investigator, and I only withdrew one because I initially wanted to voice my concerns to see if HR would actually just look into it, just through the HR process, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't trying. I was just like, could somebody look into this for the HR process? It clearly says in the draft report that I don't have HR protection. So once I found that out in this draft, there really wasn't much more for me to do. Mm-hmm. And then when I talked to the investigator, I said, how can you come up with a draft when you haven't spoken to anybody in our organization or any other stakeholders? And it even says that in the report, and they're like, well, it is what it is. And I said, well, this is extremely biased.
Right.
And the other interesting thing about this, whatever you want to call it, is this was also the person who drafted this report. They weren't the primary person asking questions. So this is secondhand information that they got from somebody else that was asking questions. So it's really biased. It's kind of comical to see that the county released this. It'd be like you complaining that I was doing something wrong, and then someone comes and asks me, "Were you doing anything wrong?" And I said, "No." You go back and tell the person, "No, they weren't doing anything wrong." That's all you talk to, and you write it down. Of course, when you do a review, if you go and ask somebody if what happened, they're going to give you their side of the story. If you don't talk to everybody involved,
mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to me. So I think the county erred. Once again, I think they probably panicked and pushed this stuff out inappropriately. I think it is just going to show how biased this was, and that it's a draft report. It was never completed. It's one-sided. They paid $40,000 for this.
Wow.
$40,000. You pay $40,000 to make things go away.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did. So a lot of problems with it. I think the public's smart enough to see that this was extremely one-sided, and the author of this report, if you go into it, and then when they start talking about white privilege and slavery, there's just a lot of weird things in there that's like, why would you add this information in there?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my take on it. Again, I've never seen a investigation like this, and I've never seen where anybody's released a draft report that wasn't completed, especially when I was told specifically that you just don't release draft reports.
Right.
So that was interesting. And if you look at their original statement here's another thing that I need to point out. If you look at the original statement from Commissioner Dyer, one, all the commissioners did not know about this.
Mm-hmm.
They did not know about this report because they didn't see it. Nowhere in that report does it say that no discrimination occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that was the county commissioner's first response, that the report says that no discrimination. The report doesn't say that.
Right. So
it was inaccurate for Rick Dyer to say that. And the other thing the report says, the recommendation is that if I withdrew, then Rick Dyer would coordinate some strategies to improve relationships, and he never did that.
Mm.
So he's all over this problem. It amazes me that they released this information. So
yeah, we were pretty surprised too.
I think they're So
Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, go ahead. I am surprised also. It doesn't impact me because everybody could clearly see how lopsided this was.
So when we talked this morning, you said you wanted to kind of give them the opportunity to update or clarify their statement. Does this new information do that for you at all?
Well, certainly. I didn't think they would release everything. I thought that they would, just like the points I just said to you. This was not an investigation because not everybody was spoken to. It was a review. clearly in the withdrawal letter, the verbiage was written that way for a reason. So I was going to have them update the fact that, one, you're listing this as an investigation. That's not the case. This was a review of the matter. Actually, my draft that I have calls it a discussion draft.
Mm-hmm.
And about the piece that I mentioned about the discrimination, it never says that in the report. So those are some of the things that I was just going to call out. I don't have to necessarily call those things out now because they put the information out that contradicted their own statement.
Right. Okay.
Just a second. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
That's my 3:30 here. It's been calling like crazy, so
Okay.
I gotta go.
Okay, yeah. Just give me a call when you're done, but thanks for doing this real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Does most of that make sense?
Yeah, that was all perfect. I really appreciate you calling me.
Okay. We'll talk again later. Thanks.
Okay, bye.